Ever hit that point where you just, wish you had a get stuff done button for your brain?
Uh-huh.
We're going to unpack some seriously cool ideas on that front today.
I'm excited.
Our guest, Dr. Jareau Almeyda. He's not all theory either.
Oh, no, not at all.
This is someone who's been in the trenches, working with big names, Thermoelectron, Johnson Controls, even Kid.
Quite the range.
And his thing is, how do we take what makes apps, games, all that addictive and ethically use it to make work, well, better?
Yeah, because let's face it, sometimes we all need that little extra push.
Huge time. Almeyda breaks it down into 4, let's call them pillars. Gamification, urgency and scarcity.
Okay.
Community building, that's a big one these days, and reciprocity.
Right. Now, before anyone tunes out thinking, oh, great, more corporate buzzwords.
I was going to say.
Bear with us. These aren't just some, empty phrases someone cooked up.
Thanks, tell me more.
This is rooted in how our brains actually work, like deep down. And what Almeyda's getting at is by getting this, we can make things work, especially more, fulfilling.
Not just making widgets.
Yeah, exactly.
So less about turning the office into like a literal video game, more about what makes us tick.
You got it. And he uses DuoLingo as an example.
The language app, right?
And they've nailed these principles. You got the points, the streaks, even that little owl.
It's so cute, though.
Right. They tapped into something very human there.
Okay, I'm seeing it. But I got to be honest, still a little wary, because DuoLingo's fun. Work is work.
Fair enough.
How do you not make this feel manipulative? Like, my team's not playing Candy Crush here.
And that is so key, and Almeyda addresses that head on. It's not about tricking anyone.
Okay.
One of his big things is genuine beats gimmicks every time.
Sure.
It's about tapping into what's already there, not dangling a carrot and hoping.
So how do we do that? Because I can already hear some folks listening going, all right, sounds nice, but it's Monday. I got a meeting in an hour.
And that's real. Almeyda gives you tactics. One that jumped out, especially for us email-inundated folks.
Hit me.
He calls it the Cadence Spreadsheet.
Okay, break that down. What is that?
Basically, you're mapping out how does your team talk? When's the best time for updates? What info matters?
Versus just noise.
You got it. By being deliberate, less overwhelm, messages actually land.
Man, I'm so guilty of the late night email, then wondering why there's no reply.
We've all been there. This is about working smarter, not just more.
Right, not harder.
And it's not just email, it's everything.
Yeah.
Meetings, updates, even just checking in.
Finding that rhythm, respecting everybody's time.
Exactly.
So Cadence Spreadsheet, love it. Other gems you found?
Oh, he's big on humor. Uses Clippy as an example.
Oh, man, Clippy. That little paper clip, so annoying.
But iconic.
Yeah.
And that's Almeyda's point. A little humor, even if it's cheesy, lightens the mood.
He's not saying you got to be a comedian.
No, but bring you to work,
So fun when appropriate. Not joking during budget cuts.
Right. But a little levity builds something.
For sure. What about rewards? That's tricky.
Oh, this is good. He challenges the whole idea of rewards.
Okay, how so?
It's not just bonuses, perks, though those are nice.
Sure.
It's knowing what makes your people tick individually.
Oh, tailoring it. So like someone really self-motivated, not driven by external stuff.
He'd say, give them autonomy. Let them lead a project. Present to the higher-ups.
Play to their strengths.
Yes. It's almost detective work, figuring out what makes them thrive.
And that's where, like you said, communication is key.
It's huge. Checking in, what's working, what's not.
Making them feel valued, heard, all that.
100%.
This makes sense, but I'm imagining some listeners, like, how do I tell my boss this?
Right.
Hey, want to motivation hack the team? Might not go well.
Haha. Yeah, you can't just drop this whole revolution on them.
Small steps.
Exactly. He says, find a pain point.
Like the Monday meeting everyone hates.
There you go. Instead of let's gamify this, it's, hey, I was reading about engagement, got an idea.
Experiment, not a mandate.
You got it. Start small, show results, build from there.
Love it. One step at a time.
That's how it's done.
Let's take a quick break. Want to equip your child with the skills of top global consultants? Don't let them fall behind. Raising Tomorrow's Leaders, The Consultant's Mindset by Dr. Jareau Almeyda is your guide to fostering essential skills in your children for their lifelong success. Available now on Amazon. Okay, welcome back.
It's funny. We're talking about like boosting motivation, engagement, all that.
Right.
But it's not about forcing everyone to be, sunshine and rainbows 24/7.
Oh, absolutely not. And Almeyda's own, his story really drives that home.
Yeah, this is someone who was in the World Trade Center on 9/11.
Exactly.
Talk about perspective.
It really reframes things.
It's not just work harder. People need to feel valued, especially after
the years we've had, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what gets me about Almeyda, he could have let that experience,
Define him, yeah.
in a bad way, but he didn't.
He turned it into this drive to understand, how do we make teams resilient?
And you see it in his career, too. He doesn't stay put. IT, life sciences, now fire safety.
That's quite the resume.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And it's not just the industries, it's the roles within them. Business analyst to
Product manager, architect.
he's even like documentarian storyteller, which, let's be real.
Fancy way of saying he's good at communicating, which he is.
Oh, 100%. Taking tough topics, making them make sense, even a little humor in there.
That's what I like. He doesn't take himself too seriously, which makes what he does say...
Get harder.
Exactly. It's not from some ivory tower. It's, I was in the mud with you.
And this really resonates, bridging the technical and the human side. You see it in his IT stuff, how people use tech.
Right.
But it's bigger than that. It's his whole leadership thing, teamwork.
Totally. He even talks about how, early on he was into dance.
No way, really?
Yeah, and he says it was all about the community, connecting deeper with people.
Interesting.
And you can see that through line to his work now.
So it's not just, what's the algorithm or where's the spreadsheet? It's...
Don't forget, we're all human.
Yeah, with our own needs, our own things that make us tick.
100%. And when you tap into that, that's when the really cool stuff happens.
I like that, unlocking potential. Almost like, what's the video game analogy?
Right.
Finding those Easter eggs, except the reward is real life good stuff.
Better work, better life, maybe even some dopamine along the way.
Right. But seriously, makes you think, what if more leaders thought like this? Not just motivation, but what makes you go?
It's instead of how do we make them do what we need, it's how do we build a place where people want to do their best?
Totally different, right? That takes, the boss has to trust people, be a little vulnerable, that's scary for some.
Oh, for sure. But Almeyda's saying that's key. Leaders got to show they're human, too.
Not just, I'm the boss, I'm perfect.
Right. Passions, struggles, all of it. Be relatable, not just some authority figure.
So not the robot boss, more like, hey, I've got stuff too, I get it.
Yeah. And when they do that, it lets everyone else relax a bit.
Creates that culture where being you is okay.
Yeah.
And isn't that when the cool stuff happens at work? When you feel safe to try things, share ideas.
100%. Goes back to that intrinsic thing we were talking about.
Right.
When you feel like you own your work, it means something, that's when you go all out.
Totally. So as we wrap this deep dive up, what's the one thing you hope sticks with people?
Man, I'd say it's that motivation. There's no one size fits all. It's knowing your team as people.
What makes them tick? What challenges them?
What makes them feel like they matter?
And that's work, right? It's the relationships, the honest talks.
Building that trust, showing respect.
It's a journey, not a finish line.
Well said.
So for anyone listening, feeling fired up, what's one tiny thing they can do this week to use this stuff?
Maybe try that Cadence Spreadsheet or just have a chat with their team.
Yeah.
What gets them motivated? Or honestly, just take a second to appreciate the folks you work with.
Love it. And if you want to dive deeper with Dr. Almeyda himself, his book is Raising Tomorrow's Leaders.
Catchy title.
Right. And he's on LinkedIn. Just search Jareau Almeyda. But, important note, it's Kidda, not Kitty.
The pronunciation is crucial.
It's everything. Until next time, keep diving deep, folks, because the best discoveries, you usually don't see them coming.